Welcome back. This is PatrickTheAttorney.com, and in this video we're going to discuss the jail time exposure for the 8 teens in Nevada that were charged with murder after the brutal beating death of a schoolmate. There's going to be 4 possible levels of punishment. There's going to be murder. You're going to have murder in the first degree or murder in the second degree. You're going to have voluntary murder or involuntary murder. Those are the 4 sections, the 4 possible subsections that these kids can be charged and ultimately convicted of. Let's take a look at each one. When we're talking about murder in Nevada, we have the definition. So the definition is a unlawful killing of a human with malice aforethought. So what is malice? Think of malice as intent. Is there going to be intent or a implied intent? Looking at some of my notes here, express malice is a deliberate intention to take away a life. So that means that you intended to kill this person. However, murder can also be implied malice, which means they're going to imply the intent to kill somebody. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at the totality of the circumstances of the events that led up to the death, and they're going to say, did you act with an abandoned and malicious heart? If you remember the facts of this case, you had 2 teenagers that initially were going to settle a dispute over a stolen vape pen and I believe it was earphones. They're going to meet around the school near an alley, and the original person who had his vape and iPod stolen went over to meet this other guy in the alley. Well, he took his friend who was the deceased, and they went, and in the video, you go online, it's all over social media, the deceased takes his shirt off and immediately 10 guys jump him, beat him, stomp him, and he ends up dying. They leave him there for dead. A passerby, or at least a passerby, according to the AP Wire news, is that they found him and carried him back to the school. Then he was in a coma, life support, and he passed away a few days later. His dad did donate his organs. So you have to look at what was the level of implied malice or what was the level of expressed malice. Now, if we're talking about the expressed malice, did they go there with the intent to kill this person? I'm going to say that's going to be a hard hurdle to jump over. I'm going to say no. But if you look at the levels of implied malice, looking at the circumstances, if you take somebody down and you beat them, stomp them, and kick them, is it an abandoned heart? Because now you know that this person could die from your actions. Here's going to be the problem with this case. You're going to have, right now, there's 8 arrested. So 8 arrested. You're going to have some of the defense saying, well, look I wasn't kicking, I wasn't stomping. However, under the aider and abetter laws in Nevada, the persons who were right there, even though they might have took a swing or didn't took a swing or prevented that person from defending himself, they're going to be treated as if they were the person who did the stomping and ultimately took this person's life. The distinction that you're going to have to look at between first degree murder and second degree murder is what's their exposure. On first degree murder, in some circumstances, they could seek the death penalty or they could seek life without parole. On a second degree murder in Nevada, they're looking at possible of 25 to life. Also, at least on a second degree murder, there's a possibility of a parole after 10 years of serving your sentence. So that's going to be the battle between first degree and second degree murder for all 8 and eventually 2 more when they catch them of these defendants who stomped this young man to death. And if you're trying to get a first degree murder charge on all 8 and some of the, let's say, boys who were not doing the actual stomping or only got half a swing in, on what theory can you get first degree murder on? Well, it's going to be on the aider and abetter theory, which is, hey, you were there, you helped, you did this, you did that. You're as culpable as the person who did the actual stomping. So first degree murder is going to be the prosecution's main witness going after these 8 defendants and eventually the 10. Now, of course, if you're one of the defense attorneys for one of the 8, you're definitely going to want to get away from first degree, get away from second degree murder. and you want to get into the area of voluntary or involuntary, your hopes and wishes is getting involuntary manslaughter. So this is known as vol and invol. And looking at voluntary, that's usually a death occurs in the heat of passion. A guy walks in on his wife in the bedroom with not him, somebody else, and he ends up killing that person in the bed and or his wife, heat of passion. Involuntary manslaughter is something that's going to be unintentional killing while breaking the law, which means these kids were breaking the law. They were assaulting, battering this person. They're breaking the law, and an unintentional death occurred. On voluntary manslaughter, the max is 10 years. In involuntary, it's a lot less. So that's going to be the fight for the defense lawyers. They're going to have to fight the DA who wants first degree, second, voluntary or involuntary manslaughter. And for these 8, there's been a lot of talk about whether they're going to get moved from juvie court to adult court. Why would a person want to stay in juvie court? Well, because 1 is the punishment's going to be less, and 2, there's up to 35% credit that the judge can reduce your sentence by. So he could take the maximum minimum and take 35% off that in juvie court. And the goal in juvie court is rehabilitation. If you get to adult court, you're in the adult criminal system. And here, I believe 4 defendants who were 16 to 17 automatically, because they're charged with murder, got transferred to adult court. So their crimes are being prosecuted in adult court. But what about the kids that were 13 to 15? The district attorney has to do a motion. They call this a certification. So they're moving the court, asking the court to say, hey, take it out of juvie court and put it over in adult court. There's going to be a formal hearing. It'll get transferred, and then all 8 will have their cases together at the same time. And again, they're looking for 2 more at the time of this video. I don't know if they caught them or not. Is it possible that these defendants get their case pled down, which means they plead to a lesser charge instead of first-degree murder down to second-degree murder? And the main issue with second-degree murder is that it's an unintentional killing. However, the end result was foreseeable. So is it foreseeable that if you stomp and kick somebody on the ground by 10 people, a head injury could kill them? And also part of the definitions is that they acted so gross, so recklessly that their conduct should have known that death was imminent or could have occurred. So that's the main difference between the first degree and the second degree murder charge here. I hope you've liked this explanation of first degree, second degree, voluntary or involved murder involving the 8 minors charged with murder on the beating death of the young man in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is attorney Patrick Silva, patricktheattorney.com. If you want to be on our mailing list, go to patricktheattorney.com and just sign up there. We won't spam you. Have a great day. Bye.